bloody Christmas. Never in my 20 years of policing have I ever witnessed anything like this. In the middle of the night, around 2:30 a.m., the one and only Damien Christmas, better known as the Shrink to the Stars, walked into the Glendale station, his hands and clothes covered in blood. The guy was just dripping with this stuff. He said 4 words to the night desk sergeant. "There's been a murder." And then he clamped his pristine pearly white shut. Hasn't uttered a sound since. He's sitting in the holding tank looking like the smuggest prick you've ever laid your eyes on. What I wouldn't give to wipe that grin off his face with a nice slab of pavement. Thing is, his record is as squeaky clean as a nunnery. And not so much as a parking ticket to his name, a model citizen. He had a small notebook in his pocket with 3 names written on it. His office is located in Normandy and Beverly, and the rich SOB actually owns 2 houses. One by the Annandale Golf Club and one by the Santa Monica Golf Club. That's all we know, which is a damn lot of nothing. Get in that interrogation room and get me some answers right now!
Welcome to the City of Angels. Grant Shepard and Catherine Carter have returned to solve another murder. This one sounds particularly difficult, so a third detective has joined them, Dirk Marlowe. The game mode for this one will be head-to-head, so the detective players are working together against the chisel, sort of like a game master who takes the role of the criminal who is trying to put obstacles in their way so they don't solve the crime. They've got 8 hours to solve this case. Detective Shepard was at the station in Glendale where Damien Christmas was being held. He would be holding the interrogation. The other 2 detectives would call in for instructions. Carter was at the Hollywood station, and Detective Marlowe was at the Pasadena station. We begin with the interrogation. Shepard had no patience. He began by going through Damien's pockets. He found a notebook with 3 names, Vicky Crimson, John Maxwell, and Carter Collins. Shepard asked him about them.
"They are my favorite patients,"
Damien said with pride.
"John regularly drinks at McCreary's pub. Vicky is always living wild at the Riviera Club, and Carter loves the dim sum in Chinatown. Is that enough information to go on, Detective?"
Shepard demanded Damien explain the blood.
"Who has been murdered?"
he asked. Damien did not flinch, and told Shepard he didn't want to talk about it. Shepard got in his face, tried to intimidate him like he had so many thugs in the past. But Dr. Christmas was not just another thug or lowlife. He was cool and collected, and smiled snidely as he said,
"Detective, until you have more information, I can't talk about it. Do your job and then come and speak with me."
His understanding of the mind made him a master manipulator, and he was already turning the tables on his interrogator. In game terms, he now had leverage over Shepard. Shepard backed up. He paced around the room a couple times to consider what to say next. Dr. Christmas sat patiently, watching the detective. The smug smile plastered on his face as though taunting his interrogator. Finally, Shepard realized how to handle a narcissist. He asked him about himself. "They call me the Shrink to the Stars, you know," Damien blurted, as though unable to help talking about himself. "But I treat regular folks as well, like Catholic priests and prison wardens." Then he winked at Shepard, as if trying to tell him something. Shepard left the room, glad to be away from the doctor. He went to the phone and called the stations with the other detectives. He told them what he had learned, the little amount he had, and they set out to follow up on the information. Kat went to Dr. Christmas's office. She was not gentle with his possessions, tossing things aside and knocking over pieces of furniture. Most of the place was bare, so much so that she assumed something must be hidden. Then she noticed a magazine sitting prominently in the middle of his desk. Something he had wanted her to find, but she hadn't bothered to look. It was a psychology trade magazine, and a note was tucked inside, as though saving a page. When she turned to it, she found the page to be about a psychologist named Lincoln Caravaggio, who recently became the newest chief psychiatrist at Los Angeles General Hospital. The note had the name Lincoln and an address. Kat would go there soon enough, but first she went to check out the Chinese restaurant Carter Collins was said to hang out at. She asked the manager about him, but he didn't know what she was talking about. Detective Marlowe went to Damien's home in Pasadena. The place was spotless, eerily so, but a newspaper crumpled up in the trash can caught his eye. Marlowe pulled it out and unfolded it. The article was about Vicky Crimson, one of the women Damien had named as a client. She was listed as being a starlet, and she was spotted out on the town with a new beau to celebrate her new contract with Fox Studios. That new beau was none other than Lincoln Caravaggio. Marlowe got in his car and headed to the hospital. Having had enough of the creepy doctor, Detective Shepard headed out to Santa Monica to investigate Damien's second house. Like the first one, it was eerily clean and empty. He had clearly set it up this way. Shepard was annoyed after driving all this way. He knew Damien was toying with him just as much as he had been in the room. When he got to the kitchen, he found something lying broken in the middle of the floor. It was the bust of a praying woman. Looking it over, he saw an inscription on the base which read, St. Christina the Astonishing. Kat got to the address she had found written in the note. It was a house, and the front door was open. Not just unlocked, but swinging ajar. As soon as Kat pushed it open a little more, she saw the body of a man lying on the floor. According to the note, this was likely Lincoln Caravaggio, but it was hard to tell, as his face was a messy pulp of flesh and bone. Laying next to him was a truncheon, covered in blood. The words Terminal Island were stenciled on the side in white lettering, so she wasted no time. She closed the doors and left, heading immediately to Terminal Island. There she found that one of the people Damien had been named was working as the warden, Carter Collins. She showed her badge and said she needed to see him. She was escorted to his office, where his feet were up on the desk, and he was ogling a girly magazine.
Fine taste you got there,
she said, startling him so much he nearly fell over.
You a boob guy or a butt guy?
He stammered.
The articles.
Yeah, I'm sure there are stunning articles in there that'll change your life,
she said, and she used the truncheon to knock the magazine onto the desk, still open to the page he was looking at before he could close it.
Ah, boob man it is.
Where did you get that?
He demanded.
So you recognize it?
Kat said.
That would explain the writing.
So what if it's one of ours?
Collins retorted.
You know how many of those batons we have? I don't keep track of all of them.
Kat grunted, seeming to accept his answer and turning away. Collins took the moment to close his magazine. Kat suddenly lashed out and smashed his lamp.
Whoops,
she said.
I didn't keep track of my arm there.
She smashed one of his framed pictures on the wall. The glass shattered.
Oh, I can't seem to keep track of where my arm goes today.
Okay, settle down. Look, I went to his place.
Uh-huh,
Kat said, walking to him. She slid one leg onto his desk near him, and she leaned her hand on the truncheon, placed like a pillar on the desk prominently in front of him. Her eyes, looking down at him from under her fedora, both threatened and promised.
I didn't think anyone was at home, so I went on in.
You just went into his house,
she said, fidgeting with the club.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to get into his safe, but I didn't succeed. Caravaggio surprised me, so I hit him with that and ran. He was alive when I left, I swear.
So your defense is that you didn't kill him. You were just robbing him.
Better than a murder charge,
he said, his eyes no longer on hers. Kat realized he was staring at her chest.
Hey,
she shouted, banging his desk with his club.
My eyes are up here, pal, and your club is about to smash through your face.
His eyes went up to hers, and he stopped making excuses.
I've been having money problems. Believe it or not, being a warden doesn't bring in a lot of dough.
Kat continued to stare down at him long enough to intimidate the man. She then crossed her legs and leaned over his desk. He was stammering in an almost whimper now. Kat picked up the receiver of his phone and called into the Glendale Police Department. She told the front desk sergeant the information she had gained, and listened to the information the others had called in. Then she hung up and looked over at her target again. His eyes jumped back up to hers.
Like I suspected,
she said.
A boob man.
The information she had received from the others was that Detective Shepard had called in after having gone to the Riviera Club searching for Vicky Crimson. He hadn't found her, but he had come across a far too familiar face. Dee DiCaprio.
Damn you pigs to hell!
He said.
What is it this time?
I'm looking for Vicky Crimson. I hear she comes here a lot.
Dee relaxed. For once it wasn't about him. He said,
Nah, she ain't here, but isn't she in all of them Fox Studios pictures?
Unbeknownst to Shepard, Detective Marlowe was heading there right now. He had gotten very little at Los Angeles General Hospital. A stoned orderly had told him that Dr. Caravaggio used to steal drugs from the hospital's pharmacy to take to Vicky. That was how he kept a Hollywood starlet interested in him. Marlowe got onto the back lot, found Vicky's trailer, and knocked. It flew open and Vicky began to shout.
I'll have your job, you little...
She stalled at the sight of the detective's badge.
Oh, how can I help you, detective?
She asked. Marlowe told her that her name was on Dr. Christmas's list, and he believed it was the naughty side. She said simply that he had always been there for her, and she didn't know who the other names on the list were. They weren't important enough. Marlowe did not believe that she did not know who they were, and her phony smile turned into a real frown.
Why would I lie about that?
She screamed.
Get the hell out of here with your accusations!
She began to slam the door on him, but he placed his foot in the way, and he confronted her about her drug addiction. Vicky opened the door again, a look of embarrassed resignation on her face. She spoke quietly, hinting for him to do the same.
You can't understand the pressure. I needed drugs, and Lincoln was the only one who could get them for me.
Marlowe asked about her relationship with Lincoln, and she went on about how lucky he was to have her, with no reaction to the fact that he was now dead. Getting little more, Marlowe reported in. Kat was on her way out of Terminal Island, but she remembered something the desk sergeant had told her when she called in to learn everyone else's evidence. Shepard had found a strange bust in one of Dr. Christmas's houses. Kat got a hunch, so she strode back into Carter Collins' office. He was no longer there. He was moving around the prison, avoiding her. Being a detective, Kat had the right to move freely through the building, but it became clear that his buddies were helping him avoid her. In game terms, this was the Chisel using all of his leverage points. This delayed the detective from finding him. Detective Shepard, meanwhile, returned to the Glendale Police Department with that very bust. He took it in to show to Damien Christmas, who, in his taunting way, responded,
Are you taking things from my home now, Detective? Yes, I have a fondness for statuary. Please be gentle with it.
Shepard tried to get further with him, but to no avail. And they needed to hurry, because time was running out. Marlowe went to the last location Damien had named, McCreary's Bar. But they had never heard of a Father John Maxwell. Now, with only 2 hours remaining, Detective Shepard went on a hunch. He traveled to the Cathedral of St. Vibiana. It was while he was on his way that Kat finally cornered Carter. He tried to spit out an excuse, and she went straight to asking him about the statuette found at Dr. Christmas's home.
Why would I know anything about that?
He said, annoyed.
I don't know bupkis about art and statues, so I can't help you there.
That's fine.
She said.
I was just heading back to the station with your truncheon. And since it's the only murder weapon seen at the murder scene, I guess...
All right. Yeah, I've seen it before. That's the statue that crazy priest was carrying outside of Caravaggio's house the night that... Damn it. I'm not saying anything else until I speak to my lawyer. I know how this all works.
Kat tapped him with his own club and winked, then turned and left the prison. She had a sense of where to go, too, and she arrived at the cathedral soon after Shepard. He had gone to the confessional booths. A large man made entirely of harsh angles stepped out of the booth.
Come to confess your sins, Detective.
He asked.
I'm sure you have many, many sins to confess.
Shepard showed him the bust he was still carrying.
What are you doing with that?
Father Maxwell asked.
It was a gift to Dr. Christmas. Saint Christina the Astonishing is the patron saint of psychologists and watches over good men like him.
Oh, I didn't know there was a patron saint of shrinks.
Shepard said.
She looks like the kind of broad who could use some therapy. Maybe Dr. Caravaggio would be a good choice.
Dr. Caravaggio, the psychologist?
Father Maxwell said, his eyes beginning to burn, but the rest of his body holding himself together.
Help Saint Christina?
Yes. You know him?
Shepard said, feigning surprise. Father Maxwell exploded quite suddenly.
He refused to repent, and Saint Christina found him unworthy.
With righteous indignation, he yanked the bust from Shepard's hands. Though the detective had been trying to get a rise out of him, he did not expect something so extreme so quickly. The large priest's arms were above his head, and the statue ready to bear down on Detective Shepard before they knew it. Others who were in the church screamed and began to scatter. Then a familiar voice shouted out, echoing through the chamber.
Freeze, or I'll shoot.
It was Detective Catherine Carter. She had come to the same conclusion Shepard had, and now they both had their killer. Damien Christmas's career was on the rise. The only mountain left to conquer was chief psychiatrist at LA General. When Lincoln Caravaggio got the job instead, Damien was blindsided. He needed to be knocked off that peak, but Dr. Christmas wasn't about to do the job himself. He had highly susceptible clients, any one of whom could do the job for him. He wrote a list of the clients most likely to commit the murder, but which one to choose? Then he realized, why not all of them? Vicky Crimson was the most high profile, but she was a raging drug addict. Damien stopped prescribing her the meds she didn't need, but craved, so he suggested she get to know Lincoln Caravaggio, who had access to much stronger drugs, and her volatile personality would inevitably explode. Carter Collins was deep in debt, and he needed money fast. Dr. Christmas casually mentioned Dr. Caravaggio's wealth, and mentioned that he had seen the huge safe, and how unprotected it was. But the most likely subject to do the deed was Father John Maxwell, a high-functioning paranoid schizophrenic. He was out to kill all blasphemers. He was easy. All Damien had to do was casually mention that Dr. Caravaggio demeaned the name of God, and he intended to spread his atheism through LA General. He then told the father that Dr. Caravaggio could do with speaking with a priest in person at his home. The night of the murder, Vicky was at Lincoln's house, but she was out cold from all the cocaine. Lincoln heard Carter Collins break into his house and went to confront him, but Carter hit him once, dropped the truncheon, and ran out. He passed Father Maxwell on his way out. He was bringing a marble bust of the patron saint of psychologists. His intention had only been to use the statue to help make his point, but when Dr. Caravaggio shouted out the, quote, "Goddamn thief!" Father Maxwell became enraged at the blasphemous speech, so he instead brought the bust down on Caravaggio's head and beat him to death with it. Having done the deed, he cleaned the statue, then drove over to Dr. Christmas's house. Shoving the bust in the doctor's face, Father Maxwell told him that the patron saint was watching over him. Damien thanked him for the gift and placed it in his kitchen, and Father Maxwell left without telling him what had happened. When Vicky Crimson woke from her stupor, she found her beau's bloody body, and she hurried to tell Dr. Christmas the news. He told her he would take care of it, and he went to his rival's home. Finding his dead body, he turned it over and investigated further, and he got blood all over his hands. He decided this would be the most fun way to present the news to the police. He could then see which one of them could solve the murder. This concludes Bloody Christmas, our third mystery from Detective City of Angels. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe for more mysteries, and happy gaming, everybody. Did you enjoy this video? Well, if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe and watch our other videos. Also, check out our website in the description to see what games we're developing and what we've recently released. Right now, we're preparing our Kickstarter for Sanctuary, the game of cat rescue. That link is also in the description, unless you're watching later, in which case you can hopefully go buy it. In the meantime, happy gaming, everybody.